Breaking news overseas right now, where officials are confirming to ABC News that U.S. air and naval assets hit dozens of Houthi targets in Yemen, including missiles, radar, drones, and air defense systems. The airstrikes were carried out by fighter jets in the northern Red Sea, this less than 2 weeks after the president signed an executive order redesignating the Houthis a foreign terrorist organization. For more now, let's bring in ABC News contributor and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Mick Mulroy, and ABC's Perry Russom from our Washington bureau. Mick, I want to start with you. What's the latest on these strikes as we hear one U.S. official telling our Pentagon reporter that the administration is characterizing today's attacks as an opening shot against the Houthis and also sending a strong message to Iran?
That's right, Morgan. I think many expected this. The Trump administration had signaled that they were going to take a much heavier hand against the Houthis from their attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea and also U.S. military assets. And I think today was that substantial attack. Dozens and dozens of targets hit, as you mentioned, by F-18s, specifically coming off the USS Harry Truman. And I think this was also, as you mentioned, a signal to the Iranians. They're trying to get them to come to the table to talk about potentially a new agreement on nuclear weapons, and they haven't shown any interest. So this might be both, one, to mitigate the threat from the Houthis and also to send that message.
And Mick, let's put a pin on that and let's go to Perry really quickly, because President Trump now posting on his social media platform a message to the Houthis warning that if the attacks don't stop, quote, hell will rain down on you like nothing you have seen before. What are you hearing on that front?
Yeah, strong words from President Trump, not just for the Houthis, but Iran as well, with Trump saying their support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately, saying if they do not, America will hold you accountable. Then back to the Houthis, Trump says the U.S. will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective, which leads to the question of how long these attacks will go on, Morgan.
Well, Mick, to Perry's point, tell us what you know about the Houthis' threats in recent days to resume targeting ships related to Israel in the Red Sea, as we've seen after Israel continued to block aid in Gaza. We know that there have been more than 100 attacks on vessels in the Red Sea since the October 7th attack, and this is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. I mean, kind of put it in perspective for us. What's at stake here?
Sure, yes. So the Houthis do claim it's in response to the recent issues in Gaza, but I can point out that even before the war started in Gaza, the Houthis were doing many of these same things. It's just now grown very intense. And a lot of the world's energy, about 40%, comes out of this region, mostly going to the Indo-Pacific. So this is something that the world should care about because it seriously disrupts commercial traffic, which of course is how we carry energy around the world.
And Mick, we know that you'll be following this pretty closely. Perry, while I have you, I want to turn to President Trump because he signed some executive orders last night seeking to eliminate 7 federal agencies. What more do we know about that?
Yeah, so we got rid of several government groups. They include the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness and the Institute for Museum and Library Services. He also undid some President Biden mandates, including one for solar panels and another one that raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour for federal contractors. But there are some questions about the legality of all of this, questions about what he can actually cut and not cut, Morgan.
Absolutely. Mick Mulroy and Perry Russom, thank you both.